Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, where we expose the left-wing BS on a daily basis. What a freaking downgrade, across the board. Going from this guy to this freaking doofus. Obviously the downgrade of the century, but of course it isn't just the executive role, it's not just Joe Biden. Everyone around Joe Biden is just so cringe and bad and dishonest. The vice president thing, let's call it obviously a downgrade, but Mike Pence wasn't exactly an all-star, but he certainly isn't no Kamala Harris.
And talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
But whatever, the vice president's mostly a symbolic role anyways. But the most devastating downgrade, the absolute worst downgrade here, and if you think about it, it was actually a double downgrade, was going from Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh McEnany as the press secretary was just an absolute force to be reckoned with. To go from her to now Karine Jeanpierre, it's just such a frustratingly painful experience. It was already bad when we went from Kayleigh down to Jen Psaki. I mean, that was horrible. But now it's been like a year and a half of Karine Jeanpierre, and it just keeps getting worse. I'm just gonna say this, been, random number off the top of my head, 400 days of Karine Jeanpierre. It's been 400 days of literally nothing of value. I don't think Karine Jeanpierre has ever said anything, yet alone anything of value. She speaks, she says words, but you gain absolutely nothing from these press secretary, let's call them experiences. And boy, do I have the perfect example for you guys today. Here's Karine Jeanpierre being left absolutely speechless, then quickly turning into a stumbling buffoon after Peter Doocy asked her one freaking question. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this, but Democrats are actually trying to flip the script on the border issue, that actually they're pro-border, they've been pro-border security, and really it's the Republicans who have been getting in the way. But let's just say it's not working so well for them because, well, we're not complete freaking morons. Take a look at this.
Thank you. So, you guys talk a lot, including today, about how the border wouldn't be such a big deal if Congress would have just passed your immigration bill on day one. Who was in charge of Congress on day one?
So it's been 3 years. It's been three whole years. More than 3 years. More than 1,000 days. And look, this is a difficult issue, obviously. This is a difficult issue. And what we have said is that Congress has to act, right? Congress, Democrats, Republicans have to act. But in those 3 years, it is true that Republicans have gotten in the way. They just have, Peter. They have consistently used immigration, the immigration system, the broken system, as a political stunt. That's what they've done. They've gotten in the way in trying to get more Border Patrol agents. They've gotten in the way in actually trying to fix what's happening, the challenges at the border. They did.
So,
I mean, they voted. They've actually voted.
For the first 2 years, no responsibility.
I'm not saying that Democrats have not been in control the first 2 years. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying House Republicans have gotten in the way. They have. They have purposefully gotten in the way in trying to fix what's happening at the border.
Well, Karine, who was in charge of Congress on day one? She kept going on, it's been 3 years, it's been 3 years. Yeah, it's been 3 years of you guys ushering in the most chaotic border crisis in American history. Congratulations. It's been 1,000 days. Yeah, wow, great job, Karine Jeanpierre. It's been 1,000 days. You've done absolutely nothing, but now it's the Republican Party's fault. And actually, let me correct myself there. It's not that you guys have done nothing, it's that you guys have done a whole lot of things, but all of the things that you've done have caused the crisis to expand. Whether that was purposeful, as if there's some sort of ulterior motive, or whether it's just sheer incompetence at this point, it doesn't really matter. It's been 1,000 days, great counting, Karine Jeanpierre. Although that might be Joe Biden math, it's been 1,000 days of the Biden border crisis. You don't get to wiggle your way out of this one. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. I mean, you need good lawyers, you need good speakers to really convince the majority that falsehoods are actually facts. Not sure Joe Biden is the greatest communicator. And Karine Jeanpierre, well, she certainly isn't changing anyone's minds now, is she?
Consistently?
Republicans have consistently gotten in the way. What? Not only is it incoherent nonsense, not only did Karine Jeanpierre respond for roughly a minute there and say absolutely nothing of value, just the border, 1,000 days, the border, very, very complex issue. It's Republicans' faults. consistently. Not only did she say nothing, but that is an outright falsehood. That is a lie. And everybody can obviously see through that. Now, I don't know if this is a last-ditch act of desperation, but who's buying this crap? That now actually Democrats are the party of border security? What? Even freaking Al Sharpton now on MSNBC, after 7 years of the network calling Donald Trump an anti-immigrant tyrant, a racist, a bigot, now all of a sudden there's an invasion at the southern border, and it's GOP senators that are allowing it to continue.
What is being done to get the public to really rise up in various states to say to their senators that they want to see the border issue resolved? I mean, you're getting migrants beating up policemen in the streets in New York. You're seeing an influx of migrants all over the country that frankly have people outraged. And couldn't there be some kind of public pressure put in the next couple of days in some of these senator states saying, why are you allowing this to continue? Because at the end of the day, senators have to deal with their voters. And at the same time, in the bill, you give money to Gaza, to civilians in Gaza and Israel. But the border, I mean, we're looking every day at the invasion of migrants, and they're playing a time game with politics on this.
These people are out of their minds. Now, I could go on and on and on, of course, explaining why these are lies, but do I really have to? I feel like it's kind of been the political dynamic between right and left. The right is pro-border security, and the left thinks literally anyone who crosses over, anybody who crosses over that line, is instantly a refugee, qualifies for asylum, and should be given legitimate documentation. I feel like that's kind of been the conversation we've been having for the last almost 8 years, especially since Trump came on the scene. But now I guess the Democrat Party's walking up like freaking Will Smith and Men in Black, clicking that little flasher, wiping your memory. Actually, all of that never happened, and we're the party of border security. Yeah, maybe back in, 2012, when Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and the rest of them sounded like this.
Well, look, I voted numerous times when I was a senator to spend money to build a barrier to try to prevent illegal immigrants from coming in. And I do think you have to control your borders.
The bill before us will certainly do some good. It will authorize some badly needed funding for better fences and better security along our borders, and that should help stem some of the tide of illegal immigration in this country.
There isn't any sensible approach except to do what we need to do simultaneously, secure our borders with technology, personnel, physical barriers if necessary in some places.
It makes sense that no great nation can be in a position where they can't control their borders. It matters how you control your borders. And what you do when you have limited places where fences are in populated areas, you force these drug dealers and others around, making it easier to apprehend because there's fewer places to come through. So I think the combination of virtual fencing, some fencing, additional border patrol is important.
But not anymore. And even how they're marketing it nowadays, how they're pro-border security, is a complete joke. The actual border security bill that they plan on implementing is nothing but a massive expansion of the currently abused asylum system, with a little dash of, giving the president executive authority to open and close the border at will. It's not even a border security bill. Democrats are not pro-border. They're pro-mass immigration, mass amnesty, mass asylum scam, mass Democrat voter immigration scheme. But of course, they'll twist it all because Democrats will literally do anything in an election season to flip the script, to twist the narrative, to formulate their little narratives, to confuse and lie to the American public, to scare the American public. Because as we know, it's stop Donald Trump at any and all cost, and that's all that matters. That's pretty much what dictated the last 8 years of their open border nonsense. They were all pro-border wall back then. Obama was known as the deporter-in-chief, but then the moment Donald Trump said illegal immigration bad, well then all of a sudden, that became racist and bigoted, orange man bad, Trump derangement syndrome nonsense, as per usual. They'll do and say anything, they'll mold in whatever whatever way they have to, as long as they can push and promote fear-mongering garbage narratives, so they can continue to use fear as a motivation to scare the weak-willed among us to go to that ballot box and vote for the frickin' commies. That's the reality, that's the harsh truth. The Democrat scoundrels are at it again. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.